Welcome, ladies, to our weekly empowerment webinar. And actually tonight, we are going to talk about how to start your reps and build a massive team that will duplicate. And we are with the lovely Angel Balachowski. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So take it away, Angel.
Thank you, Amanda. Thanks so much for having me here again tonight. And thanks, ladies, for being here. I'm excited to teach this because it's probably one of the things that changed my business completely. I mean, we talk a lot about mindset and stuff, but there are certain things that you need to do in your business to really increase duplication, increase the build, and make it simple for your team. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I am a mom of two in Winnipeg, and I'm the top executive in Canada for my team here in my company. And I just absolutely love the direct sales and home business and network marketing industry, whatever you want to call it. And I'm passionate about how it can help so many women create six-figure incomes and really just take charge of their lives and take charge of their family and just create that legacy and that ability to do whatever you want, and also show your kids that they can do whatever they want and just live that freedom lifestyle. So I'm passionate about helping women just discover their true self and discover what they're fully capable of and really be able to tap into that. But tonight we had posted in the group a kind of a multiple choice question on what you guys wanted to hear, and tonight it was definitely this one that won over: how to start your reps to get massive team duplication. And we've all been in that position where you start a company and you're really, really excited about it, and the person's excited that you join, and then all of a sudden they're gone and you're on your own and you have no idea what to do. And that's like the worst way to get started, because it almost sets you up for like 95% failure, because unless if you have somebody come onto your team that is excited about it, that excitement's going to keep on going. They're so fired up about it that they don't need any support from anybody else, that they can go and do this on their own, which is like 2% of the population. They need something from you. You need to be a leader. Your leadership doesn't stop the second you sign them up. And I've received that. I've been that person because I was never taught properly either. You know, you don't know how to get somebody started, so you sign them up and you say, okay, let's go, right? And you don't know what go means, and you don't know where to point them, and you don't know what to show them what to do. So that's what tonight is going to be about. It's going to be what I've learned along the way. I've been with teams that did not duplicate and did not have systems in place, and I've been on teams that do. And there's a huge difference in how that team produces when you have systems in place and when each person knows exactly what they need to do. A lot of times everybody's different personalities. Not everybody needs systems, but a system is needed to get a team that duplicates. You need to have a system in place. So some people may be like, oh, well, I don't need rules, I don't need structure, I don't need to know all that. They do in this situation. You need to make it mandatory that every person that starts on your team follows these steps, because it's steps to success. And when people don't follow these steps, that's when their team falls off, and that's when their team doesn't know what to do. So we're going to start off here. There's a few steps that you need to do. First one is buy a bunch of notebooks. If you want to have a team of people, go out to the dollar store. You can grab those books for $1 a piece, and grab like 20 notebooks and have them on hand. Have a notebook for every team member that you have, because not only is that being prepared, but you're also setting the mindset and the energy out there that when this new rep starts, you need a notebook for the amount of communication that you're going to have with them. And that's where you can keep track of things that they tell you, stuff about them, their contact information. If you're doing three-way calls with them, you can make notes about the leads so that when you guys are following up again, you know what you're talking about. It's just a notebook on every person so that they each have their own identity on your team, and so that when you're talking to somebody, you can pull out their notebook and you can look through the notes and you can see where you guys, connected last time and what you were talking about, what goals were, what strategies were, what marketing strategies have worked and haven't worked, where, maybe some mindset issues need to be worked on. I know sometimes when I'm talking with my team, you can pick up on some language and some areas where you're like, okay, there's a little bit of lack there, or there's a little bit of something that needs to be worked on there, and you can make notes of that so that you can build on that with them in the future. So having a bunch of notebooks on hand is huge. Even if you don't have a team yet, go out and buy notebooks, because you're putting out in the universe that you plan on having a big team. So go and buy 50, go buy 100, but just have a lot of notebooks on hand. Then the second step is when you do sign a rep up, the first thing you want to do with them is you want to have a warm and fuzzy call. So if you haven't closed them with your upline and your upline hasn't welcomed them on that closing call when they signed up, then the first thing you want to do is get them on a call with somebody. So that's your immediate upline, your top upline, whatever that can be, but just somebody that you can reach out to, that you can text and say, hey, I've just signed up this person, can I three-way you in, and have them welcome that person. And not only will that be good for them to feel great, but that leader will edify you and let them know what a great decision that they've made to be joining you in this business, because you're an amazing leader. They're in great hands, and they'll also be able to let that person know that they don't only have you to rely on, but they also have them, and they give them that encouragement, and they give them their contact numbers, and it sets them up so that they know that it's not just you that they have. They can rely on the team, that there's a culture here, that there's a family, and that they have people that are already rooting for them, because we know what happens when they get started. There's not always people rooting for them, so they need to have those people in their corner right away. The second thing you want to do, well, third, because these are the steps here, but you want to know their why. So when you're talking to your person within that 24 hours, or ideally on that call, when you're letting them sign up, just say, you know what, the first thing I like to do with my new team members is I want to know your why. I want to know why you're doing this. What is the absolute reason that you cannot fail at this? What is the biggest goal that you have? Know their passion, know their pain, know why they need to make this work, and write that down in their notebook. And then that way, when they come to you anytime and they say to you, you know, this just isn't working out. I'm trying a few things. Nothing's working. I'm not getting any traction. I don't know if this was the right decision. People are saying no. I'm not getting results, and so is. That's when you can say to them, okay, you know what, I understand. You know, it doesn't always work out perfectly, but we know that if we just work on things, it is going to happen. But when you first signed up, you told me that this is the reason why you needed to make this work no matter what. You know, what's changed? Has anything changed? Because is that still your why? Have circumstances changed? Have things got better or worse? You know, where are you at right now, so that we can go over this and see, do you still need this to work or not? And that will really take them back to that time when they first signed up and when they remember why they're doing this. A lot of times, most of the mindset that we do and most of the mindset training that we do during the day or whatever, a lot of it I use personally because I need to get into that space sometimes of encouragement and back to that root of who I am and why I'm this person. And a lot of times if you get discouraged during the day, sometimes it can just be like a couple of words from a person, you know, where they say something to, or you have a team member quit or whatever, where you're just like, oh man, and you need something. So that led talking to them about their why will bring them back to that as well, and that will kind of make them come in tune with their identity and who they are and why they're doing this and why it's so important that it works for them, and keeping notes on that why. So when you have those conversations with them, make any new notes that you need to do as well. Then you want to get them to the private training that you have as a team. If you don't have private training and you know that you need it, you need to be the person that creates that. And so some teams, like we have a private members area for our team. Our company has their own specific training, but our team has our own private members area with the training that we want them to follow step by step. And that really just lays it out for them. They know where they need to go. They have something special to themselves that, you know, isn't available to the whole company. But as you go along and you identify areas that need to be worked on, what you need to be doing if you don't have this private training in place is to start doing videos that you want your team to see when they first start. So if you can identify that there's something missing in your setup with your new rep, do a video, do a training. Just post it on YouTube if you have to. Put it as unlisted and only have it for your team, or email it out to them when they start. You don't have to have like a member site in order to get this going, but just have something, some sort of private training that they have, that they know what they need to do. And if you don't have that private training, the next best thing to do with them, and you should do this even if you do have the private training, is to walk through the back office with them. So take them either on a screen share if you can, or have a video that you've shared. That's what I've done. I just recorded a video and I send it to my new reps so that they can see what the back office looks like, and just have them know where things are, what they need to be doing, where they can locate things, and just give them a brief overview, because we know that the first thing you do in your first 24 hours is go into that back office and just go everywhere, right? Like you don't follow the steps, you just look everywhere. So you know that's what they're probably going to do too. So give them an overview of where everything is first. Then you want to lay out your call schedule. So your team calls, corporate calls, anything that you have that your team needs to be on, they need to know when those are. And I know for our team, like our team calls are where the culture is, right? That's where everybody's on the line. We're giving new strategies, new training. There's coaching getting set up. There's announcements being made. There's contests. So your team needs to be on those calls, and that's with any team. Anytime I've been in any company, it's those calls that really get you jazzed up, right? Like those 10 o'clock calls or 9 o'clock calls where you're ready to go to bed, but then you have this call and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to go work on my business. Like that's what you need your team on all the time. So lay out the call schedule. Try to make it a non-negotiable for them. Let them know, like, you need to be on these calls. This is where the magic happens with the team. This is where your team needs to see their leader. If you're a leader of a team and you're not on the team call, people are going to be like, well, where was that person? So you need to be on these calls, and they need to know exactly how to get on them, where to find them, if there's recordings of them, where they can locate that. So just make sure they know how important those calls are. And if you don't have a team call, start a team call. That's something that is just huge for a team. So have a regular team call, same day, same time, every week, with some cool extra stuff you share with your team, and it just motivates them. Then they need to know what they should do for the next 24 hours. So that can be the step-by-step training, like we said, let them know what video to start with, what area to start with, what are the maybe first 4 videos they need to go through, and then what could they do next. Set up their pay account so that they know how they can get paid. That always excites people. If in their first 24 hours they set up their pay account, it's like, awesome, I'm all set up to be paid so I can go out and start to make some money. So it just gets them, setting up their business, right? Getting them in that mindset of, okay, this is a business. These are the next steps you need to take. It's not just party time, roam around and do whatever you want. There are steps now that you take in your business that you can be set up properly. So in this first week together, we can really get some results. And then the next thing you want to do is within your next 24 hours, schedule a strategy or planning session. Now we have with our team what we call a business planning session, which is a BPS, we call it. And so it really will go over some core things that they need to know. You can go over things like how you set up a rep, those kind of steps that they need to know right away. Oh, nice spelling here. Sorry, guys. That's horrible. I just see it now. Can you tell I did it quickly before? Oops, did it quickly before bedtime. So scheduled a strategy planning session. They need to know, certain things, right? Have some core things in that strategy session. Get to know their marketing strategies. What do they like to do? What do they really resonate with as a marketing strategy? Are they more face-to-face? Are they more online? And then with those, okay, so are they more a party or event person? Are they more of a, prospect as you go out person? Are they more of a warm market person? I've talked to a couple people this week that are like, okay, I want to hit my warm market. You don't hear that very much anymore, right? But there's some people that love that. And so, or if they're online, if they're doing a certain strategy, we have a classified ad system that we do, which only takes a couple of hours a day. So then what else can they do on top of that, right? What other strategy could they do? And you can work out with them, okay, let's really work on these one or two strategies. Let's master this. Let's get you results in these strategies before you start to worry about the other things that you need to do. Now, another part of that planning session can be casting your vision for your team, letting them know where you see the team going, letting them know where you see the vision for the team, the growth of the team, where you would like to have their income be at, where if you can put in a certain amount of time with them that they can get to as well, and let them know, what they want to do when they experience failure, because all of them are going to come in and they're going to experience a certain degree of failure no matter what. It's just a part of what we do. They're going to get their no's, they're going to get that rejection. So talk to them about that, prepare them for that. Let them know that when they feel like they're failing, they can come to you. This is also where you can go over your compensation plan. If there's anything that every rep needs to know, now it's not the details of the compensation plan. I've never been I've never been able to like spew off the compensation plan to anybody because I don't care to learn every detail of a compensation plan. But I do like to know how people get paid and what they need to do to get paid. And I like to tell them that right there. And I like to let them know where the wealth lies in the compensation plan and how we're going to get there for them. And then also cast a year plan for them. When you're in that strategy session with them, start to talk about 12 months. Like on our team, we have a 6 figures in 12-month plan for everybody that we go through. And what that does is that puts in their mind that they're in this for at least 12 months. right? Because so many people will come in and in 2 weeks they're in failure and they're second guessing it, or after 30, 60, 90 days they're like, oh my goodness, I can't do this. Well, we all know that this takes time. There's planting seeds, there's harvest time, and then there's producing time generally. Some people come in and have a great success right away, and others it takes a bit of time. And so you're putting in their mind that, okay, there's going to be a period of time where you feel like you don't have results, but that's setting you up for this 12-year plan. So work on that with them. Talk to them about 12 months. I even say to them, try to commit to being here 12 months from now. Be here 12 months from now, because these are the results you can get if you just stick it out and always come to me when you're having those concerns and when you're feeling like you're failing. The next is to commit to working one-on-one with them to a certain goal. Now, this is going to take up your time. If you're the leader of the team and you have the time to give, this is something extra you can do for your team members when they come in. And that's when you say to them, I am with you one-on-one until you get your first person, your second person. I mean, for myself, I get them to a certain rank. Once they're at gold rank, then I'm still with them, of course, but then they can take that leadership role because they've got that confidence. And with our team, I do this now. When it's 30,000 people down the road, am I going to be able to do this with everyone? Absolutely not. But right now, when you're building your core team, that's when you can work with them. You can give them that attention of yours. And later on down the line, you can pick a person here and there that you can reach out to that you see is really going for it, and you can pull them out and you can say, hey, I want to work with you one-on-one. And when you have this massive team, and you're this leader that they see, and you reach out to this person who thinks that you probably don't even know who they are, and you commit to them to these goals, it's really just going to make them feel amazing. It's going to raise their confidence, and they'll probably go out and be an incredible producer. So you do that, and in this, you can even say that in the strategy session as well. This is what I plan to do with you. If you give consistent effort, if you are in this thing with me, I am in it with you as well. Let's get you to this goal, and then let's go from there with your team and get them to that goal. And that's where they move on to next, is working one-on-one with their team to get to that goal. So it allows them to know you're training them how to be a leader, and you're also leading them at the same time, and you're giving them that one-on-one where everybody's benefiting from it. You want a team to build, but you also want your team to stick around. And the reason this works with duplication is because the more your team feels loyal to you, the less they are likely to leave. And the more results you can get them in their first few months, the less likely they are to leave. If people get results, they're not going to go anywhere. If they have a team that depends on them, they're not leaving. So that's why you want to commit to work with them. Then the next thing is to have simple presentations to send prospects to. Right now, most companies have some sort of business presentation, right? Our team has put together our own because we knew what our vision was, and we knew what we want people to hear from us, and we knew, we had a little bit of a different variation of what our company was using. But if your company has them, that's great. If they're excellent presentations and you love them, if it's something that you would watch and you would sign up, then it's perfect. Because you want to be attracting people to you that you want to work with, and generally that's people like you, right? People with the same drive, the same vision, the same morals, the same desire to do huge things in life. And so if you have a presentation that you love, keep it. Otherwise, create something. Do a 10-minute Google Hangout. Do a 10-minute PowerPoint. Just have something quick that you can send people to. But the great thing is with a new rep, if you can say to them, okay, all you need to do is find certain people that you can invite to this presentation. We'll send them to the presentation, and then we'll follow up. Can you do that? Most people can do that, right? Most people will give it that consistent effort where they do that. It's super simple. You're training them on how to get on the presentation, whatever script that is for you guys, or however you do the invite. Train them on that. Get people on the presentation and let them know that they need to have at least 2 people on a presentation a day. That gives them a guideline. A lot of people will do a lot more. A lot of people won't do the 2. But it gives them a guideline of what they need to do and how they need to be in momentum for their business. So make sure there's something that you guys are using for presenting, because the new rep trying to tell somebody about their new business is like 95% likely, or 99 probably percent likely to screw it up. Like, we've all been there, when everything just comes out of your mouth and you just keep talking and you know that you need to stop, but you don't. It's because you're uncomfortable and you're not sure what you're saying. And so those are the situations you want to avoid with your new reps. And because you've probably learned from experience, take that experience and put it into your team now. take those mistakes and take those times that they can mess it up and take that away. Don't even allow that to happen by having these great strategies and presentations for them to use. The next thing is to talk to them about events. We all know that events are where the magic happens with the team. That's where you get around with everybody. You get to hang out. You get to meet each other. You get to spend time together. You get to totally dive into your culture of the company. You get to hear excellent things. You get encouraged and you get new strategies. So let them know when the events are happening. I've been on teams where it was a non-negotiable, where they were like, you get on this, you have to get to this event, or you're not getting a certain training. We all know that there's people in life that aren't going to get to events or that can't get to events. So just make it clear how important they are. Encourage them to get there. As you're getting closer to your events, definitely make sure that people know that it's coming up, how excited all of you are. If you're a leader on the team, you absolutely need to be going, so you're setting that example, and just let them know about it, what happens there. Share some stories if you've been to the events before, and let them know what goes on, and just make sure they're always knowing when that's coming up. Then you want to motivate and encourage them daily. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to reach out to every single person on your team and encourage them, but make sure that you're reaching out to one a day and encouraging them daily, just with a positive word, a positive message, just an encouragement, a video, something that made you think of them, just at least one person on your team daily. And then if you have a Facebook group, you want to make sure that you're posting in there as well. Motivate them with encouragement, and motivate them with, images, inspiration. Give them some strategies every day. If something's working for you, stop and take 5 minutes and put it in the group. Or if you think of something that your team could probably benefit from that isn't there yet for them, stop and put it in your group. Have your Facebook group be this kind of hub, this private hub where they get your extras, that they know what working with you as a leader is for them, and so they know that they're going to get that extra from you that maybe not everybody on the entire team is going to get, but it's because they're one-on-one with you that they're going to get. So just always be motivating. Everybody needs an uplifting word, at least once a week from their team. They need to know that they're valued, that even if they feel like they're failing, they're important, that they're loved, that, they're part of the team, they're part of the family. The more you create that family atmosphere, the more your team is going to stick around. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to check in every 2 weeks with your reps, with your team, and just make sure they're on the ball, and make sure that you know where they're at. Basically, remember that at every single time, every single day, there's somebody in your organization that's thinking of quitting. That's just a fact, that it's on their mind. They're thinking about it. They're doubting what they're doing. That's just the way it is. And so if you realize that, and you kind of see that somebody hasn't been around the campfire for a little while, reach out to them. I've been on teams before where I was told, if you don't reach out to me, I don't have the time to reach out to you. And it's like, well, that's great. And I mean, yes, it's my business and I'm an entrepreneur, but at the same time, we're human, right? We want to know that we matter. We want to know that somebody notices us. We want to know that we're important enough that somebody's like, hey, I haven't seen so-and-so around for a little while. Why? What's going on with their life? I hope something hasn't happened. Sometimes life happens with people and they don't want to reach out to their business partner and say, hey, this is what's going on, because they don't want to bother anybody, or they're doubting themselves, or strategies aren't working and they don't like to admit it. And so just always, every couple of weeks, make sure that you're keeping track, and the best way to do that is keep track in that notebook of the last time that you talked to people. Keep track of, okay, I haven't checked in with so-and-so since, it's been almost 2 weeks. I better send a message. I better pick up the phone and call them. I better check in and see how business is going. And then you're going to have those leaders that you talk to every single day, the ones that are producing, that are in action, that need you, that are, doing things. And that's great if you've got a team like that, but always be kind of conscious of the ones that aren't doing that. Don't always give your full, don't just be so fully invested in the ones that are taking action that you forget about the ones that maybe need you right then. And then the last thing is to be realistic with your team in many different ways. And, the worst thing you can do, I'm just going to take some water, sorry. The worst thing you can do is in the beginning, if you make goals or you say things that are totally exaggerated, if you make it seem like it's easy, if you make it seem like they're going to make a boatload of money right away, if you're totally not realistic in the beginning, you're setting up a rep for failure, because they're going to think that they're not going to trust you, they're not going to trust the system, they're not going to trust the business, and they're going to think that it was a bunch of hype in the beginning. And then you want to be realistic during, because if somebody comes to you and they're saying, you said that I could do this, and I wanted to reach this income goal, I'm not even anywhere close, I don't understand what's working. And you can say to them, well, okay, let's go over what you're doing. Be realistic with them. Okay, how many hours are you actually giving this every week? And have them lay it out for you. If they're like, well, I don't know, I'm giving it some time, well, they're not really that committed. So, having this conversation where they're not getting results isn't really that realistic for them, because they're complaining about something that they're not doing anything about. So know what they're doing, know their strategies. If they're really giving it effort, then say to them, okay, what are you doing? What are you saying? Where do we need to work on? What strategy are you using? Maybe you need to change to a different strategy. Sometimes people think that they want to be working on a certain thing, and if it doesn't work for them, it may just be working on something else that's out of their comfort zone. A lot of times we know, and you can say this to your team too, the things that make you uncomfortable are generally the things that are going to get you the biggest results in your business. The reason you resist them is because they are your breakthrough. So if somebody stays in their comfort zone all the time doing something that isn't getting them results, ask them what the one strategy is, something that the team trains on, something that's in your training, something that they could be doing, something that maybe you're doing that they're not, what makes them uncomfortable? What is their, oh, I don't want to do that? And then challenge them to do it. Challenge them to start taking those steps to actually do those things, because it's the things, it just works out that way. The things that you don't like to do are, and we all do it. I mean, even as leaders, you're going to have things that you resist doing, but always remember, if you're resisting something, you maybe should challenge yourself to do it. Excuse me, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I've been on the phone all day today. But that's a great way to kind of challenge your team. Let your team know that you're doing something outside of your comfort zone. Let them know that you're challenging yourself, and then challenge them to challenge themselves with you. So if you have a rep that you're talking to and they tell you what's uncomfortable, you can say to them, okay, I challenge you to do that. And because I totally want to support you, I'm going to do this tomorrow, because it freaks me out to go out and do that. So I'm going to go and do that because I totally want to support you, and I know that we can both get this breakthrough together, and I want to see us, up on stage together in a couple months, or I want to be vacationing with you. I want to be spending the rest of my life at the top of this team with you. So let's do this together. And then they know that they're not alone. You're not challenging them like a boss. Nobody wants to feel like they have a boss. They want a leader. They want somebody that can coach them. They want somebody that could be a friend, but at the same time kick their butt when they need it, right? And that's what a leader does. And so you just need to know your team. Keeping those, like that first tip of keeping those notebooks is the biggest thing that you can do, because it will, that's your team. They're not just slips of paper all around your house that you're keeping notes on. And it's a matter of being organized, but it's a matter of treating it like your business, but also like a family. And I can't, reiterate that enough for teams, that if they feel like a family and they feel like they're valued and they have these systems in place, they will duplicate. They will get results. They will, it's a complete different game changer than when somebody comes in without any direction, because you can see we have like 13 steps here. 13 things that you can go over with your team. Not all of them are at the beginning, but I mean, it's just steps that you want to be following with your team. So can you imagine if 0 are happening and you expect people to be getting results and duplicating? It's just not going to happen, right? And so you just need to be consistent with this yourself. And the more your team sees you do this with your reps, the more they're going to duplicate that. So you can easily just, add to this whatever you need for your team, extra steps that might be part of your already strategy, and you can utilize some of these for that. But just be systematic, be simple, be loving, be a friend, be motivating, be a leader, be the coach, be everything that person needs. Be more invested in their success than you are yours. And that's what really being a great leader is about, and that's how you keep people. Because if you truly start to wake up every morning and stop thinking about how much money you're going to make and start thinking about how you're going to help your team that day, or who you're going to help, or even who you're going to bring into your team, who's coming to you, those kind of things will change your business totally. And it changes the people that are drawn to you, because when you become a person that lives out of giving, you will get those people that are supposed to be in your life, and those people that will build your team because they're attracted to that kind of a person. So it was just a half-hour training tonight. I don't know if anybody has any questions, I will open it up and see. I don't see any questions yet or anything. If anybody does, go ahead and type it in. But yeah, that was it. And I appreciate you guys being here so much. I love doing this. I'm sorry that my voice is totally going, but I was losing it. I was talking to Amanda a couple of hours earlier and it was already going. I was like, oh no. Oh, somebody's. What is you're not a strong leader? How do you teach? What if you're not a strong leader? How do you teach? You know what? If you're not a strong leader, what I do with my team who's brand new and like hasn't been in the business at all, I do this with them. So I'll say to them, okay, you've got a new rep started. Let's go through all these steps with them. So what I would suggest is if you don't feel like you're strong enough yet to do that, reach out to your upline and ask them if they can help you, because I mean 9 times out of 10 they're going to say yes. And make sure you know that you need to be at that step then where you've got somebody working one-on-one with you to a certain goal, and your goal might be just to be confident as a leader. And if you feel like you're not a strong leader, I would suggest just starting to dive into some mindset training too, and starting to see yourself as a leader. I know we like go over those hokey things that you need to say to yourself, but even every single day say, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm an amazing leader for my team. And you'll start to feel more confident. And then once you go through this with your upline and they start training these reps with you, you start, like, when you hear something over and over enough, you start to repeat it, right? Like it's just habit. We hear it and it comes out of our mouth. So the more you hear that leader say those things for you, it's going to start to come out of your mouth. And you just need to be, if you're going to do that, just know that there's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to, you know, cut those ties, cut that dependency really on your upline and start to take that for yourself. And what I let my team know when they're at that point is that they're scared to step out as a leader. They've got that, you know, hesitancy. They don't believe in themselves enough. They're scared they're going to screw it up somehow. But I just let them know, like, when they first started, if I had screwed up something in that we were doing, would they have known? And they wouldn't have known, right? So you can kind of get that fear out of thinking that you're going to be a bad leader to these people, because there really is no way that you can be. As long as you're committed to being their leader and getting them where they want to go, getting them the answers that they need, taking them on the steps that they need, giving them the systems that they need, as long as that's who you are, they're not going to have a clue that you're nervous or that you maybe haven't even led anybody yet. And that's the cool thing. And then once you've done that once, your confidence builds and you start to talk differently and you start to lead people differently and you start to realize, oh my gosh, I am a leader. Because if you want to be a leader, then you will step out into that. Some people aren't leaders and some people, you know, need to be led, and not everybody needs to stand out as a leader. And there will be teams where, you know, if I had somebody who was like, you know what, I just can't do this, I will bring you the contacts, but I can't, you know, I just don't see myself as a leader. I would absolutely still help them, right, and work with them and work with their team, because everybody benefits from the team. But I do, you know, most of the time people who come into these businesses there is a leadership, like a leadership level in them, right, that they want to get to and that they're working towards, and we're always a work in progress. So that's what I would suggest, is if you don't see yourself that way, just let your upline know, and they'll help you out. Is there any other questions at all? Thank you for that question, by the way. That was awesome. That's a very good point. Very good. A lot of times we don't think of things from like the very beginner, right? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for the question. So awesome to have you ladies on. I don't see any other questions. Amanda, I'm going to bring you out to close, and I'll watch the question box here. If I see another question come up, I'll definitely answer it, but I'm going to unmute you. There you are. Oh, you're already unmuted. How'd you keep so quiet?
No, I had been muted, but I heard you saying that you were done, so like, I unmuted myself. Thank you once again for this wonderful webinar. I think this is really helpful, and I mean, I get this kind of help from you every day, but being able to share it with the women, the amazing women in this group, is great. So thank you once again, Angel, and I look forward to even more of these. I mean, I'm not sure how many weeks you want to do them, but we will gratefully accept any help you want to give.
Yeah, so. You bet. Well, let's go through right through. Oh, you're welcome, Sandra. Thank you for being here. May as well go through June, right? I'm probably coming out there at the end of June. So we'll go as long as we can. I love doing this as long as people want it. It's awesome to go. I don't even know how many have we done, like 5? So
I think so. Yeah, no, a lot of the women can't make it because it is late.
yeah,
But I know I get a lot of feedback on the group that they love these, so
awesome.
they look for the replay. So we're
Wonderful.
very grateful to have this. And if anybody else wants to do one at another time as well, they can feel
Yeah,
free to volunteer to do one. I mean,
you bet.
it doesn't even have to be the Monday one. We can start putting people in the hot seat.
Well, there's so many great women in that group and so much that can be shared. And I think like having a community where we can support each other is always awesome. So absolutely. I love that idea.
It is.
But yeah, well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me again. And you guys all have a wonderful night and we'll see you next Monday. I have no idea what the topic will be. Probably one of the other two that were in the choices there. But if anybody has any questions at all after you've watched this, the recording or whichever, you can reach out to me anytime in the group. Thanks, Amanda. Have a wonderful night, ladies. Okay, good
Good
night.
night, guys.